Ha ha. You better choose yourself and let's get it. Welcome to the Choose Yourself channel, y'all. About to give you more growth than you can handle. So you better light a candle and tap in because we got Miss Ashley Maland here, creator, coach, and truth seeker, coming to tell us stories about the growth and the systems that help her develop the version that she has become today to contribute to the one she loves and the community that she's a part of, which is what we're all looking for. Authenticity comes with acceptance and accountability. So welcome to the show, Miss Ashley Maland. How you doing? How you feeling? Thanks for coming.
Oh, hey, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. I feel amazing today. How do you
Yeah.
feel today, Hakeem?
Hey, the answer is only better every day. It's the only way.
I know.
That's it. It's a mindset because when you say it all the time, then you got to actually do it. And I noticed that.
That's
Like,
good.
if somebody
That's
asks how you
good.
doing, and I say good, people who know me gonna be like, oh, something's wrong. He didn't say better every
Yeah.
day, but we
If
like
you
to,
said good, I'd be like, something's seriously wrong.
right, yeah, I'm good. I'm like, oh shit, he's not good. But we like to get into the raw truths in the story, but also what you envision for your future from how you created it with your purpose. It's something we all aspire to do, is to create something from who we truly are. And there's 5 points to the choose yourself process. It's recognize your trigger points, evaluate your environment, build a strong foundation, invest in yourself, create, and contribution, which is what you're at now. And I don't think these steps and pillars ever stop. You just keep revisiting them and keep reformulating them as you evolve. But let's talk about your story and what were the first key indicators that you turned trigger points into turning points to become more self-aware.
Ooh, that's good. I think for me, the trigger was a constant cyclical cycle of ending up in the same place with romantic relationships and always ending up hurt and feeling rejected and abandoned and not chosen. And that was the moment when I realized, wait a minute, I'm the common denominator. Like, I'm not saying that I deserved any of the things that have happened, but I'm the one that keeps coming back to this exact same type of relationship and ending up in the exact same place every single time. So I can't change other people, but I can change me. I can figure out what I'm doing to help myself. And that's when my whole life changed, honestly. That's when my whole life changed, was realizing that the only person that can bring about joy, love, peace, stability, and safety is me. That's it. Just me. No one else is going to do that for me.
That's
So,
it. Choose yourself. Was there a difficulty in admitting that to the people who kind of saw you in those patterns where you're like, okay, you're right. After they've been saying it after years, I know for me it was tough. I didn't even say nothing. I just started changing. I didn't even tell them you're right because of my ego. I'm like, dang, they've been right, but I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna change and wait.
you know, I what I actually did was I stopped telling people. I stopped having a bunch of conversations about what I was doing wrong or what other people were doing wrong. A lot of my conversations with my closest friends who really loved me were about what everyone else was doing wrong to me. I was very much stuck in a victim identity and felt very much like a victim, and there were times in my life that I was a victim, but the mentality of that is what kept me in the same place. And I realized that I had to get honest with myself because even talking to friends or people who knew me who could look from the outside and see things that I couldn't see, they still saw me as a victim too because I did, right? So if that makes sense, but basically I decided one day I hit rock bottom a few years back and was at the end of a relationship, another relationship. Same situation, same ending, different person. And I was just at rock bottom. And it was that and a million other things in my life that weren't going well, but that was kind of the catalyst. And I sat there and I was just so depressed and realizing like I'm the only person that can do anything about this. I have to heal me so that I stop allowing people like this into my life. Stop giving so much of myself to people who don't reciprocate, giving so much of myself to people who don't appreciate it. Like, why am I doing this? Why am I trying to earn favor and love from people? Like, I don't have to do that. And for me, it was less about getting other people to help me and more about me learning that it was time for me to save myself and do the work for myself and not rely on other people to do it for me or to make me feel better in the process. And so I spent a lot of time on my own. I probably isolated a little bit too much, if I'm honest, for a while.
Hmm.
But I look back at that now, and I do think that season was necessary for my growth because it was me. It was all me. It was up to me. I had to be the one to sit in the really hard discomfort and the painful moments and like literally go through withdrawal and loneliness, right? Because I was so used to relying on other people and being connected to other people and having other people encourage me and lift me up and keep me afloat that I hadn't learned to do it for myself. So
Yeah, that's, you said something about stop talking to so many people. And now you specialize, or your passion is about relationships. Topics do you are you passionate about when you help other people when you're coaching?
I am I'm passionate about relationships too, but I'm more passionate about people healing the cycles that keep them stuck in toxic relationships and learning to find their identity outside of romantic relationships. Because we live in a culture that romanticizes romantic relationships to the point where people spend their entire lives thinking that's the only point. When your entire life revolves around who can I get to love me, you never build a life for yourself. You never know who you are, right? And so my passion is helping men and women find the identity of who they are. And without that being the only kind of love that they can pursue, because there is love all around us. You can find it in a million ways. And when you stop putting romantic love on a pedestal, your entire life opens up to you. And then what happens as you heal the parts of you that were addicted to toxic relationships and you learn your own identity, you will eventually become aligned with someone who's literally in the same path as you. And guess what? You'll end up in a healthy, beautiful relationship with someone doing the same kind of work that you're doing that actually makes sense for you. It's actually healthy for you because you don't have to romanticize it anymore. And your whole life doesn't revolve around that person. And their whole life doesn't revolve around you. And you can both have your individual lives and then mesh together in ways that are healthy and beautiful and so much more meaningful than just lust and dopamine, you know?
Yeah, that's that choose yourself to be chosen. Don't lose yourself and stay frozen. You gotta you gotta develop the character that can actually maintain the relationship you want. You gotta develop the character that can maintain the
That's
business
right.
you want, the body you want, the habits you want. You gotta develop it. Ain't nobody coming to save your ass, not even your savior. Would your savior approve of your behavior? He can see you. Don't forget that. And we talk about we
So
talking
good.
about the negative. This is another thing that I've learned, or I'm a huge fan of, is don't go back to your people every time you got problems because now they view the other person as negative, and so that they'll try to
Mhm.
protect you and persuade your love and how you feel about them. I think you just staying private from everybody, including your mama, is the best thing in figuring out within a relationship. Is that something that you support? Is that you advise?
Yeah, the only time that you should be sharing the details of your relationship with other people, and not even details, but just the ins and outs, is if it's truly abusive, right? Like if they're abusing you mentally, physically, emotionally, usually other people see it before you do. So there's always that. You'll notice like people in your life going, "What is that? Are you okay?" Like you'll notice them starting to pick up on things even if you haven't yet. But if you don't feel safe with someone, you should talk to somebody about it. First, your therapist, and then maybe a friend, right? But the only other things that you should be sharing about your relationship to the people that you love, if you have an overall healthy relationship, is the good stuff, right? That's the only things you should be sharing is the good stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. And that pendulum that you hit a pendulum of consistent toxic relationships and then a pendulum of no relationships and then you find your balance. And that's what it is with
That's
any
right.
type of dependency. You break free. You can't be trying to quit nicotine and smoke Tuesday to Sunday. You got to break free and then find your balance. That's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
What's something you noticed between men and women of why they try to fulfill their need for love with the opposite sex? And it's different for both, but what do you see the difference is for men being like, "Oh, I just stay with a woman, stay with a woman." Why is that? And same with women overall in your experience.
It's completely different reasons. I think men value and idolize the way that things look a lot of the times. Like the concept of having a wife makes them feel proud, right? It makes them feel pride to be like, "Oh, I have a wife and I'm a husband and I'm a father and I have a beautiful home. Like men get a lot of value in being able to show that to the world, right? Right? Because women, their value comes in feeling loved. Women get feel a lot of value in being loved and chosen. So for a woman, it's like they want to when they feel chosen by someone else, that is like the epitome of everything. That's why men ask women to marry them, right? Because a woman feeling chosen, like that person chose me. There is like this immense pride that a woman gets in feeling that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that comes down to our natural state of a man seeking purpose and faith in God and personal evolution to be able to provide safety to the woman so then she can actually be more supportive and more chosen. And it's like you choose each other by choosing your divine intention, your divine creation. And I think a lot of people get mixed up in that with prioritizing the other partner, especially after you meet. After the honeymoon phase, now you done start went back to Oreos, you start shitting in front of each other, you stop brushing your teeth, you stop wearing makeup. What you doing? Don't stop doing, and don't in the beginning of the
Yeah.
relationship, make sure you can do that shit forever. Whatever you're doing. Because once you
Yeah.
stop,
Yeah.
the other
Yeah.
partner notice. Would you agree?
Oh, 100%. Totally agree. I have like this policy in dating. Bathroom things are off limits.
Off
Period.
limits.
Bathroom stuff is off limits for me. And from day 1 to day 8,000,
Yep.
we're not sharing that. That's a thing for me and you to have our own way. Because if we want to keep this going and I still want to be attracted to you and you still feel attracted to me, which is really important, by the way, those kinds of things, we're not buddies. We're not buddies, we're lovers. And I want to still see you as my lover. Right? Like,
Another thing that
so
I'm a huge advocate for longevity is stop walking around naked in front of each other all the time. Put some clothes on. The
really?
whole time? You think the whole time just walking around the house? Like, what happened to the
I mean, I
imagination of
wouldn't walk around naked, but I've never heard that before.
real? I think that builds the imagination and the sexual tension to then want to break through that protective, like, oh, I got my shirt on. Like, let me turn her on. Let me, make her intimate to make her in the mood. Cause every time she naked, she's not always in the mood. She's just naked. I don't even know what she is. She just tired or free. What she doing? So I think that's important in my relationships,
That's a really good point.
but definitely
I'm
the
actually a
bathroom.
big advocate for, and this is me. You have to go to the bathroom?
No, I was saying definitely the bathroom idea that you were talking about. Yeah, definitely that. None of that.
Like, oh, okay. No, I'm a big advocate for too for women in particular because I think men do this pretty well anyway. But I'm not a big fan of exposing every body part that I have. Like, in general, I think that letting people use their imagination is so powerful.
Hmm.
And I think it makes something, it almost creates like a sacred space when you are intimate with your person and they know no one else has seen this. That's mine, right? Like that is the privilege that I get by being your person, right? So I just think there's something really beautiful about like a level of modesty. And don't get me wrong, I wear crop tops all the time because it's like my stomach still looks good and I'm almost 40. So, I'm
Yeah, you
gonna
be
keep
killing it.
showing it, right?
Yeah, you be
But
killing it in the gym. I see
yeah,
it.
like my stomach's you just got yeah. But overall, you're never gonna see me with my tits out, my ass out. You're not gonna see any of that because I want that to be special for my person. Like I want them to be the only person that knows what it looks like down there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you attract unwanted attention, and then it comes down to how much of your energy are you giving to someone, even though you have a man engaging with another dude,
Mm-hmm.
smiling, looking at him, and freaking telling him your name, asking him questions. Like men don't give a damn about the man. They don't care. They think they're gonna
Mm-hmm.
wait around until you done because you done smiled and gave them your dang number, talking about let's be friends. And I think that's very
Yeah.
important to have that conversation of what is okay as far as having guy friends, girlfriend. What you think? Having guy friends and girlfriends.
Well, I think it's okay to a degree, but it depends on what does that friendship actually look like, right? If you, let's say, for example, you and I are dating, and I say to you, "Oh, this is my best friend, John." But John and I used to date. We used to date.
Oh
Like
hell
we
no.
hooked up. You know, no, that's not
No.
acceptable.
That's your
That's not
ex.
acceptable.
Fuck all that.
I wouldn't be okay with that. And I don't see how you could either. Right. Like, why are you still so close? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. Or there's a difference between this is a friend of mine. I talk to him once every 6 months, a year, catch up for 15 minutes, check in on him, see how he's doing. And that's that. That's period. Right. And that's okay, I think, because look, like we work with the opposite sex all the time, right? There are going to be men that I work with in my career, right? But I know what the levels are, what the boundaries are should be. I will never treat a man that is not my person like they are, right? They're not going to get the same version of me that my person gets from me at home. And my person will know that because they will see it as I interact with them because I will have nothing to hide. If I am just friends with Joe over here, then when my boyfriend's sitting here, I will happily answer, "Hey, Joe, how's it going? You doing okay? Cool, sweet, awesome. Yeah, me and my boyfriend are sitting there's a level of respect that you have to have for your person and a level of respect that you have to have in that friendship that makes it acceptable, right? And
Hmm.
that's what I think. I think it's okay to have friendships. They should be platonic friendships only. And they should be so open ended that there's nothing you would ever need to hide from your person about it.
And no new friends. I don't want to hear that. This my new friend. What for? What? What y'all met since we met? Now you got a new guy friend. We not. He can be your new client. You can be if you do hair. You're a trainer. You got a new client. Fine. But once it's like, oh, I'm going to my new client's birthday. Wait, hold on now. Hold on now. It starts getting personal. We got to
Not
keep it
without
business
you.
if it's business.
A new friend comes into play. You're our new friend now. And unless you're like, no, I get a weird vibe from them. I don't like that. Oh, you're probably right. Okay. I trust that.
And that's no longer our friend for sure. Not like, oh, you're overreacting, you're insecure. Why are you? Well, that's suspicious, right? That's suspicious. But what, as
Yeah.
far as friends,
Agreed.
can you phase two of the choose yourself process after trigger points is evaluate your environment. Can you talk about a situation where you had friends that you had to let go and then you had a lot more space and clarity in your life, but it might have been difficult to do because you thought they were there to benefit you, or it might have been an ex.
For me, I that was actually kind of a natural process. Like, I didn't ever go out of my way to be like, I'm not friends with these people anymore, or I'm not hanging out with them anymore. I just started building myself, building
Hmm.
my own life. And to be honest, as I built myself and raised my standards for myself and raised my values for myself and my morals, certain people just naturally kind of moved away from my life. And I do believe that when you're truly doing the work, you end up aligning with the right people. But if you ever get to a point, like if someone's listening and they're like, that's great, but I do have people in my life that I feel just aren't good friends or they don't have the same values as me. You are not obligated to keep a relationship alive if it isn't actually pushing you forward or at least providing a space of safety and comfort for you. You shouldn't have people in your life that can't celebrate your wins. That's huge for me. If you can't tell someone, hey, this happened for me and I'm so excited because you're afraid that it's going to trigger them, upset them, or they're going to say something negative, you shouldn't have people like that in your life. Because when people really love you, when people are really for you, when people really want to see you succeed, those are your people, right? That's true, authentic relationship. If they don't feel that way about you, they are either hiding resentment, bitterness, or they are secretly your hater. That's just all there is to it. You shouldn't have those people in your life.
And them secret haters, they be coming right, well, not coming in your face, but they be coming right up in your face, waving, smiling, liking, commenting, can't wait for you to mess up. Can't wait. And all of a sudden they right there. Yeah, I've
The
seen,
second
you know,
the second I sense negativity or I sense just like a bad feeling I get from somebody when something good happens for me, I'm not going to be like, I'm never speaking to you again, sorry. I just don't make space for that person anymore. I don't. And I don't feel guilty about that at all. And here's the reason why. I will celebrate my friends' wins even if I am doing horribly. I could be living on the streets, and if my friend says to me, I just finally bought my dream home because I worked so hard to get it, I would celebrate with them because I love them. I want them to do well. I want them to be happy. I want them to feel good because I love them, right? So if a person can't do that for me, I'm going to nip that in the butt before it ever goes anywhere, right?
yeah, got to. Got to protect your peace with self investment. I mean, when you add value, you understand value. If we're out here
Mhm.
trying to fulfill our lack with relationships, vices, addictions, other communities, praising celebrities, living vicariously through. Well, the world gonna keep on changing, and you're gonna change with it. But it's not changing you into you. It's changing you into what society wants you to be. Typically, non-performance character.
Mm-hmm.
They call those. They call them drifters. People that are just seeking the next trend. They're like, oh, what am I supposed to do? I gotta go to class, or I'm gonna fail, or I gotta follow the law, or I'm gonna go to jail, I'm gonna go to heaven, or I'm gonna go to hell. And I might as well choose. Dang, you can actually figure out what is in alignment with you and move regardless of the consequence if you have the self-belief that you'll be able to get over it and get after it for sure. That's it.
Amen.
What was one daily discipline, your main one that you've done the most since your turning point?
Not letting negative thoughts rule my life.
How you do that? How you practice that?
Became aware of how often I had them. And the moment I became aware of how often I had them, I just made the choice to every time I have one, I will flip that thought. So if I wake up and I'm like, "Ugh, I feel like shit," I immediately am aware of like, of course I feel like shit. I mean, saying that I feel like shit. No, I don't. I'm going to get up. I'm going to do something about it. And I feel great. I feel great. Like your thoughts are so much more powerful than you think they are. If you're thinking negatively about yourself, you're going to feel it. You're going to project it. Your life's going to suck. And when I realized how regularly negative thoughts were ruling how I felt and how I interacted in the world and how I moved, it changed my life. And I got to a point where I was like, I refuse to let those be the narrative. I refuse. And here's the beautiful part: you can change every negative thought into a positive one. And if all that you have to do is at first just, I feel like crap. No, actually, I feel great. It may seem silly at first until that neural pathway in your brain is completely rewired because it's now all positive thoughts. And then watch and see how your body and your spirit and everything else follows suit. Like it truly makes a big impact and it changed my entire life.
Quickly too. It happens quickly, like within minutes. Like if you could just get, if you could just get through it, your body will change.
Literally, if you actually sit up straight, breathe, and smile, your dopamine raises.
Easy as
So
that.
it's not just silly thoughts. It's literally mind, body, spirit, life changing.
Yeah, that's why people say you have a happy place because the mind doesn't know if you're experiencing it, you're dreaming it, you imagine it, you're really on the beach if you're not. But being able to have that connection between your mind, body, and spirit to really shift your nervous system comes from systems. It comes from action. I
Mm-hmm.
believe, which even meditating is an action, but when you don't have to move, but it's an action you're taking to deliberately change the neuroplasticity in your brain. We have to be intentional about changing how our relationship inside. That inner voice
Mm-hmm.
is in Untethered Soul and Living Untethered by Michael Singer and causes the annoying roommate, ego programming, judgment, subconscious habits, stuff that we've always done is the easiest thing to choose. And that's why I say in the foundation, you do hard things. A lot of people say that. You do things you don't want to do, whether it's put the phone down, whether it's, drink your coffee black, whether it's don't put so much freaking cream cheese on your bagel, have some eggs. Like those can be hard too. It doesn't have to be burn 1,000 calories like me. Whatever's hard for you, do that. And it starts shifting that relationship inside. Cause the next time that voice comes up, you're like, no, I had eggs. Don't try to do this to me again. I had eggs this morning, not a bagel. Don't try
Yeah.
to take me to McDonald's. I'm getting a salad again on the roll.
Yeah. And it's a domino effect. Like every choice you make to like just take that step further leads to another step.
Every time, man, set the foundation. So investing in yourself. Pillar 4. What was your major investment that you think was most worth it, the earliest in your journey since that turning point?
I think in general, realizing that I was every bit as worth loving as anyone else. Like I didn't love myself. I didn't even know how to love myself. And I thought it was selfish to love myself. And so the greatest investment I ever made was back into myself and realizing that I am just as worthy of every ounce of love I give anyone else. I am just as worthy of loving my own life and my own body and my own needs and wants. These are all things that are just as worthy. And realizing that the more I invested in loving myself, the more loving I actually became. the
Mm.
more useful I actually became, the more of a blessing I actually became. And so it ended up just blossoming into this beautiful thing. It's why I have what I have now. It's why I have the platform that I have now, because as I learned to love myself, I learned to express myself. And as I learned that my voice mattered, I started speaking more. And as I spoke more, other people listened. And as other people listened, my messages got spread out. And as my messages got spread out, people were benefiting from what I was learning. And it was just a whole effect, a domino effect of just learning that, hey, you know what? Loving myself is just as important as loving anyone else. That was the greatest investment I ever made.
That authenticity is what attracted people to you, really, and
Hmm.
accountability. That's what happened to me as well. But when it comes to creating and contributing, like now you're creating from your purpose, from your passion, from your story, which is like pure authenticity. Like everybody, you need to find a way to find the power in your story, compartmentalize it, find a channel to provide it back to others. It doesn't have to be, you ain't got to be salesy. Find a way. You can speak online. That's what we both started doing, just speaking online. That was contribution. And then the feedback was validation that we were seeking and not speaking. We're trying to get, you trying to get validated by the version you were by holding things in and trying to find support for that. And you couldn't find it because we weren't living in our truth. And content, really helped with the contribution aspect, and that's why I prioritized content for years, waking up at 3 and spitting poetry walking because of the impact it had, not so much about the expansion. But how do you make sure you stay, for anybody who's trying to create a business from their passion, you stay in alignment instead of chasing attention? Or what are some key pointers people to understand?
Well, I'm glad you asked this question. This is really good. And I talk about this a lot whenever I'm doing like, when I talk to people who are wanting to build content. The number one thing I always tell them is don't ever create anything with the need inside of you to be seen for it.
Hmm.
Always create from your own experience with the hope that it will help one person, with the hope that it will help one person. One view is all that matters. One comment is all that matters. One like is all that matters because that's one person whose life has been made better because you were honest and open and vulnerable and you shared from your experience. I've never, ever created for likes, views, comments, shares, money, ever. Ever. I could care less. I don't care if I get 11 views on one post and I get 2 million on the next. It does not matter to me at all. What matters to me is that every single person who listens to anything I say is better because of it. That's it. And so if you can stay in that heart posture of, I'm not doing this for me, I'm doing it for someone else, then that will help you stay aligned with your passion and it will lead to more doors opening.
Were you always like that about the likes and the comments? Did the comments ever get to you?
Yes,
Did you ever,
there were
you ever
negative
delete
comments
something?
that got to me for sure.
Yeah.
When I first started, I actually didn't, because when I first started, I didn't think anyone would listen anyway. I was actually talking to myself. I was giving myself advice in the beginning, right? I was putting
For
the
real.
camera on going, all right, Ashley, listen up.
I'm
You
gonna
know
watch
the
this
truth, so
again.
let's talk it out. Literally. I would sometimes see a video of myself talking like, damn, I really needed to hear that.
I also
You
need
know?
to love myself.
So for a long time, I was just talking to myself and it helped me feel better just getting it out and then hearing the higher version of myself speak. And so I didn't even know if anybody cared or listened or watched. And so if I got any views or likes it, I was like, oh, sweet. That's awesome. And then when I started kind of like, when the momentum started building and people started to watch, I might have had like a couple of moments there where I was like, oh, there's a lot of people commenting. There's a lot of people watching. I probably should be more polished or careful. But then I would always come back to, but why? Why do I need to be more polished or careful? Like, no one's going to relate to that. Like, that's not me. That's not who I am. Like, I'm just myself and that's all I want to be. And so the negative comments never really got me that much. Most of the time they just kind of made me laugh because I know that good, happy, healthy, whole people don't go online putting negative things. Like, no one does that when they actually have
Right.
a vision or a purpose in their life. They just don't do that. So it's actually sad more than anything for them. And it makes me giggle because I know it's not true. But if there's ever been anything that actually convicted me, I took it into account. Like, I actually reflected with myself and thought, could there be any truth to what this person said? And if there is any truth to what this person said, what can I do to change it? You know?
Hmm.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
let's,
I relate with
I
you
think
100%.
authenticity is important.
I relate with all that 100%. Just talking to my screen. I was using it as an integrity loop where I would say things that I wanted to do that I
Yeah.
know should be done. And then I'd feel a type of way when I didn't do it. So I'm like, I'm really just making myself feel guilty so I can finally change. Like, come on now. But one thing I remember you told me a while ago. I don't know what the conversation was, but I was like, just block their ass. She was like, no, they might need to hear some more content from me. I was like, damn, that's truth right there. He's like, yep, I see your anger. I'm not going to block you being disrespectful, but I'm going to let you keep following me because you clearly need to hear this because this shit triggered your ass. And me, on the other hand, I'm like, block, block. But since you said that, I've been real mindful about it because I'm like, maybe they do want to need to see some more. Obviously they do. That's why they commented. So thank you for that.
Well, no, I mean, but it's true too. Like, there are certain people, yeah, you should block,
Yeah.
right? But then there are certain people that are projecting because they're in a bad place with themselves. And as long as I know my intention behind whatever I said was truthful and authentic, I know it's nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with me, right?
Hmm.
If I triggered them, it's because of the work they have to do. They probably need to keep watching
Yep.
because somebody's
Tune
got to
in.
call them. Like, I mean, it doesn't hurt my feelings. It doesn't hurt
Yeah.
my feelings if they want to project on me because I know it ain't me. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
if I
I
felt
love that.
convicted by it, then I'd know, like, oh, maybe I need to sit with that. But if I feel zero conviction, then I know it's not a me thing. So,
Yeah. Amazing. I admire your tenacity, the growth. We've obviously had a couple podcasts, got another one next week. We'll be in St. Louis on the
yeah.
15th, but I appreciate everything you're doing for yourself. You inspire me personally. You got anything coming up? Any programs? You got a book? You got anything besides our event that you want to tell the people?
Actually, I do. I'm really excited about this. I'm not sure when we'll be launching. It could be 2 weeks, it could be a month and a half or 2 months, but I am working on a 6-week course on how to get back on your feet after heartbreak. And so I'm really, really, really excited about that because I've lived it, experienced it, I've done it to the point where now I know exactly what to do and I know it works. And I'm excited to help other people because that's the number one question I get since day one is how do I move on? How do I let go? How do I get back on my feet? And now I have a course that I was putting out there that will tell you exactly what to do and it works because I've done it and I've lived it.
Nice. Yeah, that's the best is to create something from something you've done. Well, I'm a Vikings fan and they got the most playoff losses in the history, meaning they make it far and lose. So I might need that when my heart breaks this year. So let me know when that launches because we on that trajectory. But until the meantime, listen, y'all tap in, Ashley Maland, tap into the show notes, tap into her podcast. This is where we heal. Tap into the CYC Zoom every Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern time to GYM, and that's Grow Your Mind. In the meantime, in the between time, keep the gratitude in your attitude and always choose yourself.